Come with me, everybody, as I go behind the scenes of how I created my bling bouquet for my bride for her wedding last month. So this is a 10-inch half spear, and the stick is about a 10-inch rod stick, all made out of styrofoam. I measured it to make sure it sits in the center, cut a hole in the middle, a deep hole, deep enough that it will stick all the way down there. I glued the stick up in there. It was a lot of glue between the hot glue and the Gorilla Glue. And then I just got this 2-inch ribbon and wrapped it around as a border because we are dealing with shades of purple for this wedding. So that's to take care of the border. The next step is getting my ribbons. These ribbons are about 6 inches long, and I cut them and then make a triangle on the end of each because I'm gonna glue them all together because these are gonna be my bottom base of the spear to cover up all the white. So once I get them, I fold them with hot glue, and then I start adhering them to the actual bouquet until it goes all the way around the spear. And it actually goes a little bit, maybe an inch up on the rod of the stick. And then I do a base, and now this is me putting the ribbon all around the edge to cover up all the whites. Pretty much like this. Very close knit and tight is how I try to do the ribbon. Now, this part of the video may be a little bit long and detailed because it is the detailing part of the entire bouquet on how I created those ribbon knots all the way down the bouquet. Very tedious. You need glue, lots of hot glue, holding it, allowing things to dry before you continue to move to each step. And it's very patience driven, where you have to move your ribbon up and down, flip it around, that it creates a knot design all the way down the rod of the bouquet. So you want to take your ribbons and you want to pull tight on this step. You pull it very, very, very tight. And in the back, you're twisting it. In the front, you're twisting it. Because when it comes back up to the front, it's going to look like a knot. Like you got multiple knots coming all the way down. So yeah, just keep trying. When I say this part is very tedious, because it's meticulous, because you have to make sure that the knots are lined up from the first knot you begin to the last knot. So at this step, it's more or less me trying to continue the knots all the way down towards the edge of the rod of the bouquet. And you do have to pull real tight on this step, and that just makes sure that the cross-grained ribbon doesn't come apart and that it adheres to the actual rod of the bouquet. So you just slowly on this step. That's why I said patience driven, because if you are deciding to do this particular design on your rod of your bouquet, it's more patience driven. I keep saying that because it definitely took my patience trying to get these knots all the way down. So when I got to the end, I just tied a knot, and then I make sure I burn all the ends because I don't want anything shedding off of this. And putting the fire on it, make sure that it kind of melts the ends so they don't come apart in the process. So this is just creating that little tag at the end, putting it down. I just crossed it at the end and just allowed the ribbon to hang down and just glued it down real tight. And from that step, I just make a little small cut, design, incision. And from there, you make sure, again, burn the edges because you don't want anything raveling off of these. I sized it so I can make sure how I can put her initials on it. I cut it on my Cricut machine in glitter adhesive paper. And then I just added it there. From there, I just ironed on her initials, her new last name, just to give it again, my company is called Mara's Accessory Boutique. So everything I do is boutique style. It's not meant to look like a previous event or previous design of anything I've done, because it's custom made for that particular event. So when she has it, she knows that it was only made just for her. I make these always differently every single time, so it's not the exact same bouquet. She had no clue that this was being made this way. She actually had no idea. She entrusted the vision, and she just allowed me to be creative and create for her so she can have a timeless keepsake that she can look at from years to come and just be in awe of it. So these are just flathead beads that I put around, and then I printed out the numbers of the date of the wedding because I wanted to make sure I had the style of the number, but then they also lined up correctly on how I would draw the number on there before I added the detailed beads to it. So this is an important step. My little chalk pencil is what helped me make sure I ironed out each letter, each line, and curved it the right way. Same thing for her name. I just had to cut it a little bit to size it to the space of where the actual pearls that I put there was going to go. And then I got all my flowers. These are little fox flowers, and added them all around. And from there, I started adding all of my brooches. Had multiple brooches, different colors, gold and purple. And this is what it looks like. I even added her puppy that passed away a couple years ago. It just as a memorable keepsake on there also, but also to surprise her because I know she didn't know I was going to do anything pertaining to that part. And at the reception, it was a hit. At the wedding, it was a hit. People couldn't get enough of looking at it. And it wasn't as heavy as I thought it would be, but it does have a little weight to it. And I added little pearls, as you see on the knot, just to give it a little extra detailed design. Those are detail pins. And this is my bride holding it. She holded it a lot that day. And this is pretty much how it all came about and came out. I appreciate you guys watching. If you ever have any questions, or if it's someone that you want to design this for, or if you need me to design it for you, hit me up in a DM. Let's contact. If you next, hit me up.